Let's do a quick recap for each fight for UFC Fight Night Lewis vs. Nascimento. I'll also review my predictions for each fight, which I make for every single event on this channel. Please like and subscribe if you find this interesting, informative, or even entertaining. My Patreon's also in the description if you'd like to support me for $5 or $10 a month. It's definitely not required, but it would be highly appreciated. Any type of support that you all show helps keep me motivated in continuing to create content for you all. So if you want to get data science-backed predictions, a breakdown of fighter stats and fight history, promising underdogs and best inexpensive favorites, and full event recaps with prediction results, please subscribe and check out the channel. Let's go ahead and jump right in. This card was difficult to predict. Many fights were 50-50 and many underdogs were expected to pull off the upset. We ended the night 6 out of 12 fights at a 50% accuracy. For the previous 10 events, we're averaging 64%. All-time we're averaging 67%, all-time pay-per-views we're averaging 70%, and all-time fight nights we're averaging 65%. Now for the first fight, we had JJ Aldrich versus Veronica Hardy. Aldrich, looking to extend her 3-fight win streak, immediately took the center of the cage but struggled to land clean strikes in the first round, which prompted some boos from the crowd. Hardy countered effectively, reddening Aldrich's nose and opening a cut near her left eye with eyebrows and kicks. In the second round, Aldrich found more success with a right hook and engaged in a brief brawl, but Hardy's movement and strikes kept her ahead. The final round saw Aldrich rally with a well-placed back kick and a strong 1-2 combination that dropped Hardy, though Hardy retaliated with a triangle attempt and a triangle choke, which Aldrich managed to defend against. Despite Aldrich's late surge, Hardy's overall performance earned her a unanimous decision victory. I predicted Veronica Hardy had a 59.5% probability of victory, and she did that prediction justice with her performance, even though she did struggle in that third round. For the next fight, we had Charles Johnson versus Jake Hadley. The fight began with both fighters exchanging jabs and low kicks, with Hadley pressing forward to back Johnson against the cage. Hadley landed several jabs and leg kicks, while Johnson responded with kicks to the chest and effective dirty boxing. The first round ended with both fighters exchanging blows, but Hadley seemed to have an edge. In the second round, Johnson landed a head kick and a straight right hand that wobbled Hadley, but the Brit recovered and countered with body shots. Johnson maintained pressure with kicks and punches, while Hadley focused on targeting Johnson's lead leg. However, Johnson's striking and defense were superior, and he landed a devastating right hand that dropped Hadley. Despite Hadley's late takedown attempt, Johnson controlled the round. In the final round, Johnson's footwork and counter-striking continued to frustrate Hadley, who struggled to secure any takedowns. Johnson's volume and combinations kept him ahead, and despite a brief pause due to an eye poke, he finished the fight strong, securing a unanimous decision victory. I predicted Jake Hadley had a 53.9% probability of victory, but unfortunately Johnson neutralized his grappling advantage. This card had a lot of 50-50 fighters, like I said, which is why there were 9 underdogs with potential in my video from earlier this week. Losses are just a part of the game. We push forward no matter what. For the next fight, we had Billy Goff versus Trey Waters. With both fighters looking to build on their successful promotional debuts, the fight started with Waters using his reach advantage to keep Goff at bay with jabs and evasive footwork. Goff, however, pressed forward aggressively, landing leg kicks and attempting takedowns. Waters showcased effective striking, countering Goff's advances and landing clean shots. The first round ended with both fighters exchanging blows, but Waters seemed to control the action. In the second round, Goff came out aggressively again, targeting Waters' legs with kicks and looking for openings to strike. Waters, however, displayed strong defense and countered effectively, landing several significant strikes. Goff attempted takedowns but was unable to secure them, and Waters continued to control the stand-up exchanges. The third round saw Goff showing signs of fatigue but still pressed forward with strikes and takedown attempts. Waters maintained his composure using footwork and head movement to avoid Goff's attacks. Both fighters traded shots until the final bell, with Waters ultimately earning the unanimous decision victory. I predicted Billy Goff had a 50.9% probability of victory, and unfortunately, Waters' range and durability was just a bit too much for him. For the next fight, we had Tabitha Ricci versus Tecia Pennington. With both aiming to rebound from previous split decision losses, Ricci came out aggressively, throwing punches, while Pennington countered with jabs and right hands. Pennington landed a series of punches, reddening Ricci's face, but Ricci responded with strikes of her own, leading to a back-and-forth exchange. Ricci attempted takedowns, but Pennington defended well and continued to land punches. The round ended with Pennington shoving Ricci off after a brief clinch. In the second round, Pennington capitalized on Ricci's missed kicks, landing punches and maintaining distance. Ricci attempted multiple takedowns, but Pennington's defense held strong. Pennington's striking combinations and a short elbow opened up a cut on Ricci's nose. The round concluded with both fighters trading punches. The final round saw Ricci pressing Pennington against the fence and attempting takedowns, while Pennington stayed mobile to avoid the clinch. Ricci landed a knee and searched for a trip, but Pennington countered with elbows. The round ended with both fighters exchanging strikes. Ultimately, Ricci secured a split decision victory. I predicted Tabitha Ricci had a 53.5% probability of victory, and she did just enough to get the split decision, giving us another win for the night. Some people were saying that they had it going Pennington's way, especially with her striking stats from the fight. I totally get where you're coming from. This one was kind of a tough call. For the next fight, we had Terrance McKinney versus Esteban Ribovics. McKinney, known for never going the distance in his 21 pro fights, opened aggressively with a 1-2 but was caught off guard by Ribovics' power. Ribovics countered with precision, landing a devastating head kick that knocked McKinney out cold. McKinney collapsed against the fence, unconscious, as Ribovics walked away, knowing that the fight was over. The official result was a stunning knockout victory for Ribovics at just 37 seconds within the first round, showcasing his talent and making a strong statement in the lightweight division. I predicted Esteban Ribovics had a 50.4% probability of victory, and he nailed it, giving us another win for the night. For the next fight, we had Chase Hooper versus Viacheslav Borshchev. Hooper immediately took control in round 1, landing a takedown and transitioning to full mount, unleashing ground and pound and nearly securing a submission. Despite Borshchev's resilience, Hooper dominated the round with relentless attacks, leaving Borshchev visibly battered. Round 2 saw Hooper continue his assault, eventually securing a robo choke that appeared to force Borshchev to tap, though Borshchev and his corner heatedly denied any submission. The fight ended in controversy, with Hooper being declared the winner via submission, marking a significant victory for the young fighter. I predicted Viacheslav Borshchev had a 50.6% probability of victory, but I underestimated Hooper, and tonight, being one of his best performances, if not his best ever, I definitely learned my lesson and have noted his skill and potential. For the next fight, we had Waldo Cortes-Acosta versus Robelis Despaigne. The fight began with Despaigne landing heavy punches, but Cortes-Acosta responded with a takedown, controlling Despaigne on the ground for the remainder of the round. In round 2, Cortes-Acosta continued to dominate, landing heavy strikes and securing another takedown, maintaining top position. Despite Despaigne's efforts, Cortes-Acosta controlled the fight, delivering strikes from the mount. As the third round began, both fighters showed signs of fatigue. Cortes-Acosta landed more strikes and controlled Despaigne on the ground, delivering a dominant overall performance. The fight ended with Cortes-Acosta being declared the winner via unanimous decision, handing Despaigne his first professional loss and showcasing Cortes-Acosta's superiority in this matchup. I predicted Robelis Despaigne had a 57.1% probability of victory, expecting him to use his size advantage and power to land a fight-ending shot. Both fighters were very low-level fighters and heavyweights, if I'm being honest. Despaigne's takedown defense was absolutely awful. Both fighters' stamina and conditioning was nearly non-existent. Even when Despaigne would land, Cortes-Acosta had a decent chin on him. That front kick that Despaigne did land did not do much damage to him. Despaigne also doesn't have a decent fight IQ. He fell for the trap set by Cortes-Acosta repeatedly and kept getting closer to the cage, making it easier for Cortes-Acosta to execute his grappling heavy game plan and initiate takedowns after evading painfully slow shots from Despaigne. Unfortunately, both of these guys were pretty boring and disappointing. For the next fight, we had Alex Caceres versus Sean Woodson. The fight showcased a true striking battle, with both fighters exchanging blows throughout the fight. Woodson's reach advantage and crisp striking allowed him to control the early rounds, landing powerful kicks and punches. Caceres, known for his unorthodox style, fought back aggressively, landing his own strikes and pushing the pace. In the second round, Caceres found success with his striking, pressuring Woodson and landing several significant strikes. The final round saw both fighters continuing to exchange, with Caceres showing durability and determination. Despite Caceres' efforts, the judges awarded the victory to Woodson via unanimous decision, highlighting the effectiveness of Woodson's striking and just overall control throughout the fight. Now, I predicted Sean Woodson had a 61.3% probability of victory, and although Alex improved and looked more promising as the fight progressed, ultimately Woodson got the decision in his favor, giving us another win. For the next fight, we had Diego Ferreira versus Mateusz Rebecki. The fight opened with Rebecki aggressively attacking, landing powerful strikes and knocking Ferreira down. However, Ferreira showcased his resilience, quickly returning to his feet and landing significant strikes of his own. The back and forth continued into the second round, with Ferreira showing strong counter-striking and defensive skills. He managed to land a variety of strikes, causing damage to Rebecki's face and eyes. In the final round, Ferreira maintained his momentum, landing clean and powerful strikes, eventually overwhelming Rebecki with a relentless barrage of punches. The fight was stopped with just 9 seconds remaining in the round, giving Ferreira the victory via TKO. This impressive win marked a comeback for Ferreira, who had faced recent challenges in his career and showcased his ability to endure and dominate against tough opponents. I predicted Mateusz Rebecki had a 65.6% probability of victory, but with those countering skills and damage that Ferreira caused, Rebecki got his first loss after winning 16 fights in a row. Rebecki is still a heavy hitter and has potential, and if it wasn't for damage, we may have gotten a different result, but regardless, respect to the 39-year-old warrior Ferreira for getting it done. For the next fight, we had Alonzo Menifield versus Carlos Ulberg. The fight started with Alonzo charging forward aggressively, but Ulberg countered with precision, landing a series of powerful punches. A left hand from Ulberg found its mark, dropping Menifield to the mat. Although Menifield attempted to protest, the referee stopped the fight as Menifield showed signs of being hurt and disoriented. The victory was awarded to Ulberg via knockout, with the fight ending in just 12 seconds. After the fight, Ulberg said that A, he wanted to be in the video game, and B, he wanted to face any opponent in the top 10 of the light heavyweight division. I predicted Carlos Ulberg had a 63.7% probability of victory, and although I didn't expect Alonzo to have such a poor strategy and just rush into this fight, especially being the ranked fighter facing an unranked fighter with massive potential and training from a championship level gym, but Ulberg was really prepared. He played the reverse Uno card and overwhelmed Alonzo. This was a great win for Ulberg and easy money. For the next fight, we had Joaquin Buckley versus Nursultan Ribovics. Buckley, who is a dynamic kickboxer, displayed his agility and power throughout the fight, repeatedly pushing forward and engaging Ribovics with a mix of striking and grappling. Despite Ribovics' efforts to counter and defend, Buckley's relentless pressure proved to be too much to handle. Buckley effectively mixed up his attacks, landing significant strikes and showcasing his ground game with takedowns and ground and pound. While Ribovics showed heart and determination, Buckley's performance was dominant and decisive, earning him the well-deserved win in a spirited contest. Now, I predicted Joaquin Buckley had a 52.7% probability of victory, and he did exactly what he needed to do in this fight in order to neutralize Ribovics' height and reach advantages. Ribovics' right hand was a wrist throughout the fight, but Buckley intelligently mixed in takedowns. He was aggressive when he needed to be, he put the pressure on him, and he used a ton of ground and pound to weaken Ribovics. After the fight was over, Buckley showed class by letting Ribovics pray, and then he called out McGregor and roasted his whole bloodline. Let me know what y'all think about Buckley versus McGregor in the comment section below now that McGregor's hanging out at 170. I wonder how that one will go. Anyways, this was a great crowd and a great fight for the co-main event. For the next fight, we had Derrick Lewis versus Rodrigo Nascimento, our main event. Round 1 saw Nascimento showcasing his grappling skills, taking Lewis down and dominating with ground strikes, earning him a clear round. Lewis came back strong in round 2, displaying his trademark power with heavy punches and effective clinch work, turning the tide in his favor. Round 3 proved to be the decisive moment as Lewis landed a devastating 1-2 punch combo that rocked Nascimento, leading to a flurry of punches and ultimately a TKO victory for Lewis at just 49 seconds of the third round. Lewis's win further solidified his reputation as a dangerous force in the heavyweight division, showcasing his ability to finish fights in spectacular fashion. I predicted Rodrigo Nascimento had a 50.3% probability of victory. The prediction was contingent on Nascimento being able to avoid Lewis's shots, circle around, initiate the clinch and takedowns, and drain Lewis's stamina, and take the fight to the mid to later rounds. However, that second and third round completely changed the game, and he started to fail that strategy. And we know Lewis capitalizes on those heavy shots of his. This card had a lot of fights that were 50-50, and the underdogs shined as expected and discussed in my video covering promising underdogs earlier this week. I love the crowd's energy, and there were some really fun and technical fights on this card. Plus, anything beats seeing fights at the Apex Center. So, as I wrap up my recap for UFC Fight Night Lewis vs Nascimento, I truly hope that you found this breakdown of each fight informative and engaging. Please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this in the future. Check out the Patreon if you'd like to support me through that as well. Your support keeps me motivated to continue bringing you all the latest updates and analysis from the world of MMA. Until next time, stay tuned for more action-packed reviews and analysis. Thank you all so much for watching, and see you guys in the next video.